3 years? Not one late arrival. Not one warning. Not one complaint. Then, on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon, I walked past the company notice board and saw my employee ID on the layoff list. Nobody explained why. Nobody thanked me. They simply expected me to disappear quietly. I smiled, packed my desk in exactly 10 minutes, handed over everything they asked for, and walked out. What they did not know was that the person leaving was carried. The only knowledge that kept their biggest client running. Before sunset, the phones started ringing. By midnight, the executives who ignored me were begging me to come back. Stay until the end because the final phone call changed every single life inside that building. My name is Nathan Cross. 3 years earlier, I joined Horizon Holdings as a systems operations specialist. It was not a glamorous position, but I treated it like a career instead of a job. I arrived early every morning and stayed late, whenever projects demanded it, and solved problems before anyone even noticed they existed. People joked that if something stopped working, Nathan would fix it before the coffee finished brewing. I never looked for praise. I believed consistency mattered more than attention. Everything changed when a new executive vice president arrived. His name was Victor Hale. He loved presentations, expensive suits, and cutting costs. He never asked employees what they actually did. Instead, he looked only at spreadsheets. Within weeks, rumors of layoffs spread through every department. Managers avoided eye contact. Meetings became shorter. Everyone felt nervous. That afternoon, the official notice appeared. Employees crowded around the board. My heart stayed calm because my performance reviews had always been excellent. Then I saw it. Employee ID 417. Mine. No meeting. No explanation. Just a number on a piece of paper. Human Resources handed me a folder and wished me good luck. My manager refused to meet my eyes. I simply nodded. Exactly 10 minutes later, my desk was empty. Before leaving, I documented every process exactly as company policy required. I returned my laptop, security badge, and office keys. As I reached the parking lot, my phone vibrated. A former coworker called. "Nathan, everything is crashing." Apparently, the automated reporting system had stopped updating. Client dashboards were frozen. International shipments could not be verified. Millions of dollars in contracts depended on those reports. Nobody else understood how the system actually worked because I had built most of the internal automation during evenings after finishing my regular work. Management never asked for documentation because everything always worked perfectly. 30 minutes later, another call came. This time, it was my department manager. "Nathan, can you come back for just an hour?" I politely replied, "I am no longer an employee." The line became silent. An hour later, the vice president himself called. He sounded very different from the confident executive who announced the layoffs. "Nathan, there seems to have been a misunderstanding. We would like to discuss bringing you back immediately." I thanked him for calling, but explained that another company had already contacted me after hearing about the layoffs. One of our biggest clients had recommended me because they knew my work. The next morning, I attended an interview. Instead of asking why I had been laid off, they asked how quickly I could start. They offered a higher salary, better benefits, flexible working hours, and complete authority over future system development. I accepted before lunch. Meanwhile, Horizon Holdings continued struggling. The client whose systems had failed demanded answers. Executives admitted they no longer had anyone capable of maintaining the infrastructure. Within 2 weeks, several major contracts were transferred to competitors. The board of directors launched an internal investigation. They discovered that layoffs had been approved using incomplete reports without consulting department managers or reviewing employee responsibilities. Victor Hale had removed experienced staff simply because their salaries looked higher on paper. The investigation ended with his resignation. Months later, I met one of my former coworkers for coffee. He smiled and said the office still talked about the day I packed my desk in 10 minutes. Not because I was angry, because nobody realized how much responsibility quietly rested on one employee who never complained. I smiled because success is rarely about getting revenge. It is about being so valuable that the truth eventually speaks louder than any title. The company believed replacing a loyal employee would save money. Instead, it cost them clients, reputation, and leadership. My greatest victory was never making them regret firing me. It was proving that integrity, knowledge, and professionalism always create opportunities that no layoff notice can erase.